Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a warm welcome to the second installment of our esteemed webinar series 24 in 2024, a series by Whiteboard Education and Research Foundation in association with Deltron Technologies. Here once again we are back with our promising series and this is your host Tisha. And today I am thrilled to extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you to join us for an enriching session that promises to delve into the realms of management consulting featuring none other than Mr. Deepak Jasar, a distinguished individual renowned for his expertise and insights. Mr. Deepak Jasar come to us with a wealth of experience and a distinguished academic background. Having studied at prestigious institutions like the IIM Ahmedabad and Banaras Hindu University, he has honed his skills and knowledge to become a trailblazer in the field of management consulting. Currently representing Accenture, a global leader in consulting services, he would bring a deep understanding of industry trends, strategies, and practices that are sure to captivate and inspire us all. So, in today's session, we are fortunate to delve into a topic of immense importance and relevance in the realm of business management. Our speaker will shed light on cutting edge strategies, innovative approaches, and transformative solutions that drive success in the ever evolving landscape of management consultancy. As we embark on this enriching journey of our learning and discovery, I urge you all to actively participate, engage with the speaker, and seize this opportunity to expand your horizons and deepen your understanding of this dynamic field. So, my dear audience, without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Deepak Jasar to take the virtual stage and share their thoughts. So, ladies and gentlemen, let them give a warm digital welcome to the show.
Thank you, Isha, for warm welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I will quickly see my screen. Good morning, everyone. I'm slightly unwell and my throat is bad. Please bear with me. Forgive me for my bad throat. I hope you guys can see my screen. Am I audible, Isha?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Isha. Thank you, Isha. So this session will be on introduction to art and science of consulting. So here will be agenda will be quickly. I will so what I've heard from the team that most of the audience are students and aspiring to become management consultant. So I will focus on some of the do's and don'ts, some of the nitty-gritty details of what management consulting is, what management consulting do, how we can become a management consultant, etc., etc. And then next part of the session, have we can have questions and answers. You can ask me anything related to this session, related to career and management consulting, etc. So why I've written art and science of consulting? Because management consulting is not a science in itself, but is also an art. So it has some aspects which are art-like things. So for example, when work in organization, you need to change the organization culturally, you need to ways of working, etc., which art part of the consulting. And then also there are many quantitative things which we can call science, where we use data-led transformation, and that is the science part of the consulting. So management consulting is not just the art, but also science. So I will briefly try to introduce myself. So I am working as a management consultant with Accenture Strategy and Consulting. I have done MBA, PGPX from Ahmedabad, and BTech from IIT BHU Varanasi. Currently, I'm based out of Gurgaon, and you can visit detailed profile on this LinkedIn. I'll share the link here. So first of all, what is consulting? So if you go to textbook and you search on Google, you can see many definitions, and there are wide variety of definitions of management consulting or strategy consulting or consulting in general. But briefly try to tell what consulting is from a practical point of view. So it's ability to solve business problems and communicate effective solutions to the stakeholders. So we can use wide variety of tools. There are nowadays data-led consulting, and then there are strategy consulting, management consulting, operational consulting. There could be many kind of consulting, but the fundamental of all kind of consulting is to understand business problem, uh, define problem, and then uh, communicate the solution to the stakeholder. So that is fundamental of consulting. So who are management consultants? So management consultants are, and when I say management consult, it includes the strategy consultants. So strategy and management consult are people who are various who have expertise in various aspects of business and management, who have wider knowledge, not wider, but also in-depth knowledge and insights about various fields, and who can provide insights to clients on wide range of challenges and opportunities, and who can help clients improve their performance, to solve their problems, to achieve their goals, etc. So management consultants are basically people who work with clients, who work with the stakeholders to solve their business problems. And that business problem could be anything like increasing the market share, solving some specific challenge, penetrating into a new market, diversifying their business, or getting into a new market, etc. It could be anything. The business problem could be anything, increasing the EBITDA, increasing the performance, it could be anything. But the role of consultant will be to understand that problem, define that problem, engage with the stakeholders, and finally come up with the solutions. And nowadays, many a times, we consultants also need to not only to advise clients on what to do, but also handhold them and help them to get the implementation. So in the past, if you go back 10, 15 years back, so the role of consultants are limited to advising clients on what to do. But nowadays, most of the clients prefer, and we consult also do, is that not only we advise on what to do, but also help them get things done. That is what in management jargon called implementation of the strategy.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sorry to interrupt. Basically, I just want to tell you more about our process. So, in this whole webinar, all the audience would be on mute right now. Okay, and after this session, the session would be followed by Q&A, where all the audience can ask the questions and their queries to you. Okay, in the chat box, or
Okay.
they get be unmuted by one. At this moment, they are mute all the peoples over here. And secondly, sir, it would be great like if you can be bilingual either in Hindi or in English, sir, as these all are the students over here, majorly. Major group is from the students.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So Isha, what I can do, I think Isha is talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isha. Okay, so what I will do, I will quickly go through this presentation, and
Mhm.
then I will keep this question and answer section, give more weightage. And what I can do that when the specific questions that will come, and then I will try to explain, because right now I don't understand what people want to listen or what people want to learn. So I can keep this short, and then during question answer I can come back and again elaborate it more. Is that fine?
Okay, sure. You can go with this, and then we can have a question Q&A, and no worries, we can come back to this as well. No worries, sir.
Sure, sure, sure. Thanks, Isha.
Okay.
Okay, so when I say consulting, so it sometimes it sounds like research, because in consulting, as I said, that you need to have in-depth knowledge, you need to find out the detailed problem, the solutions, etc., which is very similar to research. And I'm focusing on this research part because in academia, you need to do research projects, you need to do research in different topics, and you are well aware of the what happens with what you do in research. So there is slightly difference in, not slight, I will say much difference in research and the strategy consulting. So purpose of the strategy consulting is to find a specific solution to a client's problem. However, research, what we do in academia and in college, university, etc., the purpose of the research is to generate new knowledge, and new knowledge can be about topic, about an idea, about anything. But usually, that is not targeted to a specific problem. In research, the focus is mostly on academic or scientific inquiry. So, for example, you do research in even in management consulting. So, you will try to be generic, try to solve a generic problem where you want to solve that. How can we improve the operational efficiency of any manufacturing company? However, in strategy consulting, you have a client, and client have a special context. So, client has some plant, client has some machinery, client has some people, and when you try to solve the problem, that will focus towards the client. In research, there is no client involvement. However, in this strategy consulting, is you don't just you don't just dictate the terms to the client, but it's kind of co-creation where you work closely with the client and try to understand their problem, try to understand their issues, try to understand their strengths, weaknesses, etc., and then actively engage with the stakeholders and then try to find the solutions. In research methodology, usually you collect data, you analyze, and then peer review in academic settings where you discuss with different professor, you study different research papers, etc. However, the strategy consulting, most of the projects are short time. You need to quickly understand the problem, uh, understand the industry benchmark, and quickly come out with the solutions. Most of the time it helps with the client itself. So this methodology also short-term approach and different from the research. So research is not only academia, but there are many corporate organizations like Gartner, Everest Group, etc., who also conduct research in various fields. So, for example, if you see go for IT or data analytics or any other field, you will see there are many research companies which do in-depth research. However, these research are generic in nature, not targeted for a specific client, but they target most of the time industry itself. However, the consulting companies, uh, although they do sometimes do research on the market trends, etc., but most of our projects are targeted to the client. Here I will try to explain how we operate, how consultants operate for a client. So first step in solving a problem is first we need to define the problem. What is the problem that we are trying to solve? So with the help of the client, we try to understand that what is this scope of the engagement. So which specific challenge or problem client need to solve. So this is the first approach or first step of the problem solving. After that, when we define the problem, so I will give you an example. When we interact with the clients, we try to understand that whether client want to increase his market share or want to increase the margin or want to acquire new customer. So we need to understand the problem and exactly define the problem of what we want to solve. In the next phase, what we do, we try to collect facts about the problem. So, for example, if we have to increase the market share, then we try to understand what is our market share currently, what market share we want, what is the audience percentage of distribution of the clients, geography wise, age wise, etc., etc. So we try to collect as much fact as much we can. Sometimes those facts we get from the client themselves. Sometimes we also go through the secondary research, so we browse through internet, we go through other research papers, etc., etc. So the collection of facts could be primary and secondary research. Then also we try to understand that what other companies are doing or what our old other clients have been doing in the same industry or sector. So for example, if we are working with a client in India who is trying to solve this problem, we try to look for whether Accenture or my other organization that I'm working for has solved the same problem in other geography, in other time, etc., etc. So we take some context from there also. After we identify the best practice, sorry, is slightly the step has been mixed. We recommended solutions. Fourth step is we recommended solutions, whether what should be the right solution for solving their problem. And then comes the implementation plan. We outline implementation plan, how and how and when we can solve this problem. And then once we implement the solution, then we try to ensure with the client that how this solution can be sustainable, stay sustainable. So it should not be like that when we are there, its solution is working, and while consultant leave, the problem, the solution is not sustainable, and again client come back to the same problem. So we try to ensure that the solution is sustainable over the long period of time. So who typically are our clients, consultants clients? So most of the client, majority share, I will say clients are from corporate organizations. So those could be Fortune 500 companies or smaller companies, but most of the clients are corporate organizations. They can be from manufacturing or from service sector. Nowadays, the increasing trend of government organizations also take help of consultants. And if you see last 20 to 25 years, lots of ministry departments, public sector organizations engage consultants for solving their specific business problem. And the third category, I will say non-profit organization, although they seldom hire management consultant, but they do, especially in developed world, they hire management consultant to improve their businesses. So why companies hire consultants? So one question that might come to your mind is when some company is working in a particular industry for 30, 40, 50 years or quite some period of time, why will they hire consultants to improve their problem? Should not they be the best person to solve their problem? It's like inviting some outsider to solve your problem. So one of the reason, as I said, that reason that consultants get high to solve a problem is the outsider perspective. When you are working day in day out for the same problem or same company, sometimes many things get overlooked and you can't see the problem. So when these companies, stakeholders hire consultants, the one of the reason is they want to get outside perspective, and that includes that to I will say to expose the hidden problems that might be underlying in the organization, in their business processes, in their understanding of business, or whatever. The second reason is that business consultants have expertise across areas, across sectors. So, for example, nowadays, lots of projects in India and worldwide happening in, say, the adoption of AI or Gen AI, will say, or say data lake transformation, etc. So, most of these companies have where they have a quite good understanding of their business, their manufacturing practices, or say even IT. Most of the time, the new technology trends that come up, they are not so aware of, and they need some help from the consultant who can get to them. For example, for last 1 years, all of you might be using ChatGPT, and you know how Gen AI or this ChatGPT is just an example, how Gen AI is transforming industry across the world. So most of the company, almost every company want to use this technology, and this is the area where they need help of the consultant. Also, sometimes when some company is changing the industry or say diversifying into new strategy or starting a new business, etc. So many a times they need industry knowledge or a specific knowledge about the business, and consultants are getting hired or engaged for this industry specific knowledge also. And as I said earlier, that nowadays consulting is not about just advising clients on what to do, but it also implementation of the idea that consultants suggest to the clients. So implementation is also very crucial nowadays, and you just don't advise; you also try to implement the solution so that is sustainable for a long period of time. So consulting firm, as you might be knowing already, MBB is the top tier of the consulting firms. And when I say MBB, is McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, which is considered who are kind of pioneer for this management consulting. Then there is second, and in the MBB, after MBB, we have Accenture, EY Parthenon, and then Element and Marshall, and then many other companies who are top notch and provide consulting services, strategy consulting services to the clients. Then on second layer, we have Big Four, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, EY, providing consulting services to manufacturing clients, service clients, as well as government clients. And then there are also boutique consulting firms, sometimes which are quite good. They have some specific expertise in a particular industry, sector, or that might be some specifics. So, for example, there are boutique consulting firms quite focused on government consulting only. Similarly, there are consulting firms specializing in particular manufacturing or service sector. So I will quickly help you with how to get into top consulting firms. So as I said, consultants are supposed to have expertise in some area or many times wide area. So many top tier consultants have advanced degrees. So if you see, if consultants want to go in depth, suppose clients want to go in depth for in the data science or artificial intelligence, so they want to have consultants in depth knowledge about these fields. So many top tier consultants have advanced degree. So if that advanced degree could be in management itself, or it could be in say particular research, particular industry or particular skill. So for example, nowadays, PhD in data science or PhD in artificial intelligence is one of the sought after skills for the this digital consultancy. So many times consultants have advanced degree, and having deep knowledge about the industry, having deep knowledge about the technology help you being a good consultant. Then you can highlight that what is the leadership role, build a strong resume. So if you want to get into the consulting, so consulting firms usually try to hire smart people who can quickly understand the problem, uh, set up a communication channel with the clients, and then advise them, and client also listen them with patience and with respect. So usually consulting firms hire smart people. So you need to build your resume in line with that so that you have a good resume where you can highlight what leadership role you have done at your college level or in your first year of job that you have done, or and you can hide your problem solving skill that you have done in your past experience. Also in addition to building a strong resume, what you can do that you can develop some key skills which is required for management consulting. And the key skills could be that you should have good problem solving skill, because as I have said that the consulting is about problem solving. So you should have good analytical mind where you can try to understand the problem and suggest some solutions. Also communication skills would be good because you just don't need to understand the problem from the client, but also you need to talk the solution to the client. So you should have good communication skills. And as I said, that if you want to get into the field of consulting, you can underestimate the power of networking. So you can use LinkedIn, other networking channel in your college, from your batchmates, from your seniors who are already working with those consulting firms, and use that network for getting into the management consulting field. The skills required for management consulting could be as I repeatedly said that the fundamental skill required for management consulting is the problem solving skill. So when I say problem solving, so basically it means that you need to have an empathy with the client, understand their problem. So the approach could be that you get into their shoes and try to understand that what exactly the problem they're facing and what are the repercussions of that problem. Once you understand the problem, then you try to identify the different solutions, discuss that with the client, and then come up with a solution. So the problem solving is the most sought after skill in management consulting. And then critical thinking. So critical thinking is very important because you know that most of the industry knowledge, or I will say business knowledge, also lying with the client. And one area where they need where they seek help from the consultants is the critical thinking of the situation. So there might be something that they are overlooking and can't see clearly. So this is the excuse me. This is area where the critical thinking uh, help you in solving the problem. And also, you sometimes you might need to uh, go through lots of data, industry data, market data, etc. So you should have good analytical skill to make sense of the data and come up with a solution. And this fourth point, which cannot be overemphasized, that ability to ask great questions. This is very important because if you go to a client and then not ask intelligent questions or relevant questions, so you don't get to know the problem, actual problem that's underlying the situation. So ability to ask relevant question, ability to ask great question is a very important skill required for management consulting. And as I said earlier, great communication is the key because if you can talk frankly with the client, understanding the problem, then also you need to communicate solution back to the client, and it should be convincing solution so that only then it can be implemented. Even if solution is good and you cannot communicate back to the customer, back to your client, it will not get implemented. So there is no point in that. So you should have very great communication skill, and also most of the time you don't work alone, but with your team. So you should be a good team player so that overall team comes up with a good solution. These are some of the popular frameworks that widely used in management consulting. However, I say that these are very preliminary and basic, and if you guys are management associates, so most of these frameworks you already be aware of most of these frameworks. Uh, in the real world, many times you don't use any of these frameworks because with your experience, with industry knowledge, with your knowledge working and knowledge of your seniors, you have some sort of, I will say, custom framework. However, these frameworks are preliminary ones and can help you in understanding the problem in initial phase. So when you try to solve some case competitions, etc., so these are some of the framework that you can use. Then I will come to a few management books. So McKinsey Way, this is the book. This book can give you insights into how McKinsey functions, how consultants, what is the life of a management consultant, how do they solve the problem, etc., etc. There are a few other books mentioned. If you want to know, I can share the list in detail also. Now comes the question and answers, and I will request you to ask anything you want. I will try to explain as much as I can. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thanks. Do we have any questions?
Audience, if you have any of the question, any of the queries, you can simply put into the chat box, okay? Please go ahead with the question and answer if you have any queries.
Do we have a question?
Okay, guys. So I have unmuted everyone in this group. So if you have any questions, so just go ahead. You just unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Although we are getting some questions on text now. Okay.
Okay. So Rohit has asked, does consultants have to be workaholic? So honestly, you don't need to be, but it's true that most of the consultants are workaholic. So you don't need to be, you just need to be good at your work. But most of the time, the work environment is quite stressful and I would say challenging. And most of the time, we have to deliver the solutions in very quick span of time. So, uh, so I would say many times people become workaholic. You have to work long hours, especially in McKinsey, top tier consulting firms. People work 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, and work environment is quite, I will say, stressful. I will not say stressful. I will say challenging. Okay, so that's true, but not necessarily. They are specific. They are boutique consulting firms. When you work in government consulting, etc. So those firms you have to move at the government, and then there are specifically big social sector or NGO centered consulting firms. So in those firms, you don't need to be workaholic, or I'll say there is not so there is good work-life balance. But in top tier consulting firms, usually the work-life balance goes for a toss. Does that answer your question, Rohit?
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rohit.
Hi, sir. I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Do we need any kind of technical skill for applying for this kind of job in management consulting?
No and yes. So if you are a, if you are aspiring for a typical strategy consultant, you don't need knowledge of any specific technology. However, as honestly, I will say that role of data and digital has been increasing over the years, and now hardly there is any consulting work, except a few specific ones where you don't need the knowledge of digital and data, etc. Okay, so knowledge of especially latest, I will say technology trends and latest technology ideas help you in consulting. However, even if you don't have in-depth knowledge, that is fine. You just need to do coding or you just not create the solution, but you should have a fair understanding of the technology. So I will say this way that understanding technology and tools help you in identifying the solution. I will say, if you don't know what technology can do what, how will we devise a solution for the client? So if you know at least what a technology does or what a technology tool does. So I will give an example. Nowadays, a lot of clients seek for the Gen AI. So you not might not be expert in Gen AI, but you should be able to understand that what Gen AI can do for a particular client. So, for example, if client is from insurance sector or say automobile sector, how and what Gen AI can do for the client. If you have that kind of understanding and knowledge, that will be helpful. But if you are don't know at all about the technology or about the digital tools or what at all anything at all, so that will be difficult situation because the client sometimes discussion becomes difficult because you go to the client, you have physical meeting or virtual meeting, and somebody asks you, okay, tell me how and what AI can help me with, and then you go silent and you say that, oh, I don't know what AI, my other friend or my some other colleague knows about AI. So that will be an awkward situation. So even though you don't need to be expert in everything, but you should have fair understanding about the technology trends and technology ideas, etc., tools, etc. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, I
Thanks.
just have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Uh, Management consulting is a demanding career right now, or I mean, after 5 years or maybe after 10 years, will it be the same, or there might be any chances of changing the situation or demand in the market?
See, I will say there is increasing trend of use of consulting. The reason being is that in older times, suppose see when you go back into time, see 50 years back or 40 years back when Tata Motors was what was running a plant selling cars to the customers. So there was very less chance that they would need some consultant to tell them how to do, what to do, etc. Because they were master of their art. They knew how to do their business. But in current situation, say where the market situation or the global scenario, where the operating parameters, all these raw material sourcing, all these things are so dynamic. Even if you see last 3-4 years, you can see everything. The chip shortage, this Houthi crisis, Europe-Ukraine war, and they are impacting market, they are impacting raw material, they are impacting supply chain. Also on the other side, the new technologies such as Gen AI, Metaverse, these technologies and these external market, these external environment impact business in such a drastic way that very quickly some company can get out of business, even if it is say is there for last so many years. It just miss something and can go get out of business. So role of I will say management consulting is growing day by day. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Deepak, I think we have some more questions in chat box.
Okay, sure. uh, if somebody if you ask question in Hindi, I will answer in Hindi. Okay. Somebody has written, sorry man, Saurabh, I missed your request, Hindi, but you can ask me anything in Hindi, I will answer Hindi. Okay, so can you provide an example of successful management consulting project? Okay. Uh, okay, so I will give you an example. One project that we did for Tata Steel. So Tata Steel, before COVID, we implemented some solutions related to safety. So, for example, where the employees, we used some digital technology to identify the location of an employee. How then also many digital technology to how to operate the plant remotely, etc. There are so many digital technologies. So Tata Steel invested a lot of money in digital technology from 2014-15 to 2019-20. And I'm quoting this example because they did not plan for the COVID. However, after the most of the implementation of these technologies, COVID came, and I will say Tata Steel was one of the best companies who can work remotely. Most of the people could work remotely, or I will say with safety, because most of the digital tools and technology were in place, although not targeted towards COVID. But those tools and technologies and I will say capabilities help Tata Steel a lot. So I will quote that as a quite successful consulting project. Did I answer your question? Ekansh? Okay. Uh, so how to prepare for management consulting after graduation? Okay. So you don't need to prepare. I will say, should be after graduation, you try to get into some management consulting firm, and then very quickly try to learn the basics of the consulting. I will say that will be best. But you can't prepare because unless you get into the environment, it's like how can I learn to swim theoretically. Okay, so I will say try to get into some firm, management consulting firm as a associate, analyst, etc., and then try to quickly learn the role. Okay, so that's what I advise. So you could take help of the campus placement team or from your network, from your seniors, from your LinkedIn, type into some consulting firm. Okay, so how will you relate AI with management consulting? So management consulting, okay, see, not really AI, but as you might be knowing that AI is changing the way we do. So in fact, this GenAI has background noise. Right. I don't know. Okay, am I audible?
Okay, Deepak, let's mute me some everyone. So actually, this is the problem which we got, which we used to get like once like I unmute me a second. Let me mute everyone, and then I think you can easily answer these questions.
Sure, sure.
Okay, we are good to go.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so see, it's not about. So first, I will talk about AI. So as you might be knowing that AI is changing most of the things, even for students, professors, people who were not in the I mean the earlier you were not so impacted with AI, with the technology. However, the AI is impacting every sphere of life. So when you are when as a student you try to write some project or try to do something to do an assignment, etc. We must be taking help of this Chat GPT tool. Similarly, lot of professional, lot of I will say artists, many people who were earlier not take the help of or not so much impacted by technology are impacted with by this AI, overwhelmed by this AI. Okay, so now when this AI is so pervading and so impactful, how can you imagine that it will not impact a business? So definitely AI is impacting business in a large way, and that's where companies need help of the consulting firm because because many of companies don't know exactly that how can we use even if they have technology team they don't know in very and this technology dynamics is changing very fast very quickly. Okay, so they need to quickly understand that what other companies are doing, what can we they do with this technology, or how can they create some kind of moat or kind sign of some competence in the AI so that they are ahead of the others. So the role of management consulting with this metaverse or the AI or the increasing trend of the Gen AI is increasing day by day, I will say. Okay, so for example, I was working for a South African client last year, and I was helping them in how can they use this AI in their manufacturing business. Okay, so we build a lot of use cases where they can use AI to improve their business. Okay, so we had a team of data scientists who were working on the code in background, and then we were identifying business problem and trying to solve those business problem with the help of AI. So I will say there is a strong correlation between management consulting and the AI. I hope that answers your question. Okay, Harsh had asked if any consultant advice go wrong and lead to loss of the company would be accountable for losses. Okay, so friend, usually consultants don't give advice like this, but see, the success of any strategy is not dependent on a consultant's advice only. There are many other factors. So there are changing market conditions, and there are so many things. So you can't attribute, I will say, the success or failure just to the consultant, because see, it's the implementation which has a, I will say, the larger impact. So even if the strategy is good, uh, even if a strategy is good or advice is great, you don't implement it properly, there is no use of it. You use of that. Okay, so I will say usually it doesn't happen that consult advice go wrong or etc. I mean, very difficult to say that whether advice. Also the stakeholders, client, they are not some kind of say novice. They also know the business. They understand the business, so they do lot of due diligence before implementing some strategy. Okay, so usually it doesn't happen like that. So, however, I will say the projects fail. Projects fail sometime, but there are a lot. I mean, so many reasons. There are people issues, technology issues, the focus issues. There might be many issues, and I say it's difficult to attribute the failure or success to just a specific reason. However, for success of the project or the management consulting, you need everything in place. So you need good consultant, you need good advice, you need people in your team capable, you need right tools, you need right data. So everything is in shape, everything is in right place, then only the project gets success. If anything missing, project could. Okay, so Rahul had asked, sir, please share your professional journey. Okay, so when I did my BTech, I was working for a government sector, working for Award for Steel Authority of India Limited for a few years. And then I did my MBA in General Management from Ahmedabad and joined Government of India Ministry of IT as a digital transformation consultant. So I worked few years for Ministry of IT, and then I joined Accenture as a management consultant. So that's my career in nutshell. Sir, is it possible to successful careers in only by investing? So I don't understand this. Abhay, can you please elaborate it? What do you mean by investing? Do you mean that investing in stock markets or something? Abhay, okay, we can come to this later. Sir, how to choose right consulting firm for your career? Okay, so there are many factors. So as I said earlier, there are big consulting firms such as McKinsey, Bain, BCG, which the entry criteria is quite, I would say, hard, and also work environment is quite challenging. And then there are Big Four, and then there are other specialist consulting firms like Accenture, UI Partner, and so many others. And then there are I will say boutique consulting firms. Okay, so every firm has different culture, different work environment, different entry criteria. So you need to do some research about this, and then your alignment to that. So, for example, what you are looking for. So whether there are many people who want to work a few years for McKinsey and then go to other industry, and there are many people who want to just learn some consulting tricks, etc. For say some people, there are many people who work for just 1 2 hours and they don't able to cope up with that and leave, and then other people who stay for considerable time, and then there are few people who spend their entire life in the consulting. Okay, and every person has different ask requirement from the job. So you need to figure out your priorities and what you are looking for in a consulting firm, and then you can decide. Okay, so investing means from a stock market. Friend, I will suggest no. A stock market, you cannot live your life by investing in stock market. Should not. I will say should not. You try to earn money from somewhere, then maybe invest some money in the stock market, because see, uh, there is a quite a good role of luck in the success in the stock market. So okay, so you might be hearing that Rakesh Jujunwala and Warren Buffett, etc., making lots of money. But you also see, you can also, if you look at data, there are thousands and hundreds and thousands of people who try to replicate the same thing, and they fail. Okay, so suppose one in say 10,000 or one in 100,000 become success in the stock market. Not necessarily you can be one. Okay, so that's quite risky, I will say. So try to do something meaningful in your life. Also, that's not much meaningful. I mean, you just gambling on the some future of some other company, and for which you have no control. Okay, so I will not advise that you just build your career in the stock market. Although if you are so much passionate, I will say passionate that you try to learn this and want to become a trader, even though it's risky, you can pursue that career if you are so much passionate about stock market. But just because you want to want to use this as a earning quick money or lots of money, I will not advise. Name the adequate technical skill required for aspiring consultant. Okay, so as I said earlier, you don't need any technical skill. I will go back to my presentation. So you don't need any technical skill for to become a management consultant. You should have, as I said earlier, good problem solving skill. You should have critical thinking approach. You should have ability to ask good questions. So you should be smart, I will say. You not necessarily to have any technical skill. Okay. However, you need to have an awareness of technologies. That I will say. Does that answer your question? Uh, okay, so Shivangi, try to answer that question. Skills required to be a successful management consultant. So I will again repeat that. So you should have a good analytical brain. You should have a critical thinking approach. You should have a problem solving skill. You should have ability to listen to the client's problem and then quickly ability to come up with a solution. Apart from these skills, you should have also some awareness of the technology, tools, etc. So, for example, if you are working for a client, if you don't understand what SAP does or what data analytics can do, it's very difficult to solve for the client's problem. So, you need to understand the finance concept, you need to understand the technology concept, you need to understand the operational concept. So, you should have, so not only you should be smart, but you also should be aware of the across the segment knowledge, I will say. So you, if you don't understand EBITDA, if you don't understand the profit margin, if you don't understand the gross margin, net profit margin, etc. If you don't understand those terms, it will be difficult to talk to your client because some of the terms you might be working for, you might be working for a CTO, you might be working for a CFO, and suppose you are working for the finance department and if you don't understand those basic terms, it will be difficult to work. So I will suggest that you should have basic understanding of those things. Second, I will suggest that you should be a quick learner. So it's not possible to learn each and everything in advance. So what you can do that you can start working and then try to learn quickly about things. So for example, if you're working in a finance client, you have to work extra hours and try to learn the finance basic finance terms and terminology so that you can talk to the client. So learnability is a good skill, I will say. You have to be quick learner. And also, as I said earlier, there are new technology coming up is every day. So if you are a good learner, you can learn those new technology quickly and then help the client with that technology. Yeah, sure. Samriddhi, freshers offer management consult definitely. So there are many companies who hire only who hire only freshers for management consultant. And as a fresher, you have many advantage. You don't have the bag and baggage of your last industry or last job. So as a fresher, as you are young, you are smart, you are intelligent. Even if you don't have industry knowledge, but you have the other skills, as I mentioned, you should be smart enough to solve a problem. So yeah, do as a fresher, you can offer management consultant. What are strength and weakness as a consultant? My friend Mayuri, strength and weakness as a consultant, I don't understand this because strength and weakness are for a person. So every person could have some strength and some weakness. Similarly, for consultant, somebody might be good in communication, bad in something else. Somebody can be good in. If that is your question, I don't understand. You can elaborate if you want, Mayuri. What skill we need for becoming a successful entrepreneur? Okay, successful entrepreneur, you need a good idea, then perseverance. So you just don't need a good idea, you continuously need to pursue that idea. So what happens many times you have a good idea and then 2-4 दिन बाद गायब हो जाता है. आपको आज एक बहुत अच्छा आइडिया लगा लेकिन मे बी 6 महीने बाद वो आइडिया आपको अच्छा नहीं लगा है. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वेरी गुड आइडिया. सेकेंड थिंग, यू शुड बी पैशनेट अबाउट दैट. अगर आप पैशनेट नहीं हो तो फिर क्या होगा कि कुछ दिन बाद वो आइडिया आपका दिमाग से निकल जाएगा या आपको लगेगा कि नहीं इतना अच्छा नहीं है, कुछ और करते हैं, ठीक है? तो वो एक परसिवरेंस होना चाहिए, निरंतरता होनी चाहिए, जो आपको अगर लग रहा है कि मेरा लॉन्ड्री बिजनेस चलेगा, अच्छा चलेगा, इसका अच्छा फ्यूचर है, ऐसा नहीं कि अगले साल आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं रेस्टोरेंट बिजनेस में आ जाता हूँ। तो परसिवरेंस चाहिए, लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क चाहिए एंड देन लक चाहिए टू बिकम अ सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर. What are differences between boutique and large companies? Okay, so boutique consulting firm usually is specialized in particular things. So, for example, there can be a consulting firm which is specialized in quality improvement. और एक boutique consulting firm हो सकता है. For example, I think there are Samagra and few companies who only work for the government. और कंसल्टिंग फर्म हो सकता है जो कि सिर्फ ऑपरेशनल एक्सीलेंस में काम करता है, जो हर कंपनी को एक ही चीज में हेल्प करता है. बट देन देयर आर कंपनी बिग कंसल्टिंग फर्म व्हिच वर्क ऑन ईच एंड एवरीथिंग. ओके, सो जैसे मैकिंजी है, बीसीजी है, एसेंचर है, दे डू एवरीथिंग इन द वर्ल्ड इन कंसल्टिंग फील्ड. तो हम लोग डिजिटल में भी काम करते हैं, जेडीआई में भी काम करते हैं, ऑपरेशनल में भी काम करते हैं, एचआर में भी करते हैं, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन भी कर सकते हैं. Whatever is there in the consulting, we do work on that. But then there are specialized consulting firms जो कोई कोई कंपनी है जो सिर्फ स्ट्रेटजी में हेल्प करती है, कोई कंपनी है जो सिर्फ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में करती है, फिर अगेन कई कंपनी है जो सिर्फ ऑटोमोबाइल में काम करती है, कोई कंपनी है जो सिर्फ गैस एंड ऑयल एंड गैस में काम करती है। तो दोज आर बुटीक कंसल्टिंग फर्म। ओके, हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज नेटवर्किंग इन, सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नेटवर्किंग। पहली चीज तो है कि आपको जॉब पाने में हेल्प मिलेगी। दूसरी बात ये है कि networking, suppose if you already have a job and you are working as a consultant, so if you have good network, so you there is somewhere जहाँ फंस जाते हो कि आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि क्या करें कैसे करें, या फिर मान लो कि आप काम कर रहे हो ऑटोमोबाइल में, ये डोंट हैव बैकग्राउंड इन ऑटोमोबाइल, तो वहां पे जाके आप क्या कर सकते हो कि किसी फ्रेंड की हेल्प ले सकते हो, किसी सीनियर की हेल्प ले सकते हो, किसी और कंसल्टेंट की हेल्प ले सकते हो। ऑल्सो जब कंसल्टिंग में न्यू बिजनेस एक्वायर करना होता है, वहां पे भी नेटवर्किंग काफी हेल्प करता है। So networking not only in consulting, I will say every sphere of your, I mean, almost every career networking. If you have good network, that helps in learning new things, in switching over career, or say acquiring new clients, etc., etc. Even changing job, आपको job change करना है, if you have friends across the companies, so that helps. So I will say the networking helps in almost everything. Is that all? Do you have any more questions? I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Deepak, you are audible. So I think we have one more question. Like, how can anyone stay updated on industry trends?
Okay, okay, okay. Thanks. So Rahul, for so when you say industry trends, so do you want to mean all industry trends or specific industry trends? Usually, every industry has different trends, and if you have working for a particular industry, uh, and you want to keep track of that industry, that's you need to look into. So again, it depends on why you want to stay updated on industries. Okay, if you are working as a consultant and want to understand the latest update on industry, okay, for that you need to research paper. As I said, the Gartner and Everest, and there are many companies which publish the industry trends. And also you can keep the news. You can keep yourself updated with the news. And then also there are many research papers published by other organizations also. Again, then big consulting will also publish industry trends. So, for example, PwC, KPMG, McKinsey, almost every company publishes industry trends. So, if you go through them periodically, I will say, so that will help you stay updated on the industry trends. I think this is the last question, guys. Guys, I'm really sorry. I was slightly, I had fever in the morning, so I'm not so well grouped, and also my voice is breaking. I'm really sorry for that. My voice is slightly, my throat is sore, so I'm really sorry for that. But I hope this discussion was helpful for you. Any quick feedback from audience?
Yes, sir. We are once again here. It's really a great session, and it's really appreciable that being not so well, you gave us so great presentation to us and give us an insights where all the audience over here get some insights, and obviously that would be very fruitful to them for their future. So, with the going ahead with this process, I would like to thank you on the behalf of Deltron Technologies as well as at the for the entire audience. I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir. Thank you for your unwavering support, your enlightening presentation, thought provoking discussions, as it's basically left an indelible mark on all of us. So, we are truly fortunate to have had the opportunity to collaborate with someone of your caliber. So, it's truly evident that you have not only enriched our webinar series, but also inspired all of us to strive for excellence in our respective fields. That's totally great of you, sir.
Thank you so much, Isha. Thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you everyone for attending the session. And if you want any more detailed information, you can ping me on LinkedIn or some other platform. I will be happy to help you. Thank you,
That
everyone. Thank you so much.
That's great. That's great. So before just ending up the session, so we would like to let the audience more about it. So as we bring another enlightening sessions of our 24 in 24 webinar series to a close, I'm filled with a sense of gratitude and optimism for the journey we have embarked upon together. So today we have had the privilege of delving into the dynamic world of management consulting, but more importantly, we have witnessed the power of bridging the gap between the corporate sphere and the realm of education. So, our webinar series aim to serve as a platform for knowledge exchange where industry insights intersect with the academic excellence, creating a synergy that propels us towards innovation and growth. And today's session has been shining example of all this collaborative spirit. Our speaker, with their wealth of experience from the corporate world and academic foundations, and has a seamlessly blended theory with practice and offering us for a comprehensive understanding of a management and consulting that is both insightful and actionable. So, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our speaker for their invaluable contributions, to all of you and our participants for your active engagement and thoughtful questions, and to our organizing team as well for their dedication in making this webinar series a resounding success. So, thank you all for your participation. And I look forward to a continued journey together in our future webinar series. Until then, stay curious, stay connected, and keep striving for the excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you, team, organizing team, and thank you, audience. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.